All right, guys, let's get right down to it. You know the name of the show. It's called Real Truth, and my name is Howard Riell, and truth is at the center of just about everything, which brings us to the Academy Award nominations. They came out early this morning, and I am here to talk to you about them. I have brought along with me one of the foremost cinema experts in the United States by way of Britain. He's a buddy of mine named Simon Later. He's on the line with us. Simon, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm very well, thank you, Howard. Thanks for having me on.
It's my great pleasure. Needless to say, as soon as I looked at the awards nominations today, I think in terms, my regular listeners know that I write reviews, movie reviews, for a website named movieagendas.com. Joseph Goebbels never had a propaganda machine like Hollywood has. And if you look at this year's nominated movies, there is propaganda galore. Simon, agree or disagree?
I'm going to disagree.
Okay, why?
I don't think it's that. Look, let's be honest. The Oscars are a Hollywood celebration. They're a Hollywood party. And it's an opportunity for Hollywood to pat itself on the back and also preach to everybody, all of lesser mortals that aren't in the entertainment industry, about the things that we really ought to be caring about. But to go as far as to call it a propaganda machine, I'm not quite sold on that.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the nominations for Best Picture. We've got Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, Star is Born, and Vice. Now, out of 8 movies, I count 6 that have a political agenda behind them. And it's not simply the fact that the Twinkies in Hollywood are liberals and so they end up making liberal movies. They are used as propaganda tools, in my humble opinion. And I think that it is clear. Well, let's go through them one by one. Black Panther.
Sure.
Nominated for Best Picture. I saw it. I didn't think it was anywhere near the quality needed for Best Picture. But the reason it's nominated is because race has moved to the forefront in this country. It's an all-black movie, African superhero, and that is the reason I think it's been elevated to the status of a nominee for Best Picture. Your thoughts?
I think that's a fair argument. I think that what it does extremely well, first of all, do I think it's the best Marvel movie, or the best superhero movie ever made? Frankly, no. Even within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, personally, I thought Thor was a better movie, and actually Thor remains my favorite of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even outside of Marvel Cinematic Universe, for me, I would say that Batman Begins or The Dark Knight are the best superhero movies ever made. So it's a stretch to say that a movie that, in my opinion, isn't the best Marvel movie ever made should be necessarily the best picture nominee or the first best picture nomination out of the Marvel canon. That being said, is this one of the 8 best movies of the year? It's not been a brilliant year for the movies, so maybe it is. Maybe it's just, there are times where in a weak field, the least weak player emerges the strongest, but compared to other years, isn't necessarily going to make the grade. All
right, you're making valid points.
What I would say,
yeah.
if I may just very quickly, what I would say, despite all of that, is that I think the one thing that the Black Panther movie does well is bring a very African story into the mainstream and honors its source material, and I think should be applauded for doing so.
Okay, let's move on. Now, as we move on, Simon, you well know, and let me point out to my audience, that over the past several years, there's been a lot of controversy in Hollywood because nominees are too white, not enough people of color, not enough black directors being named. So race, the racial component, has been injected into something as innocuous as the Academy Awards. And I think that that is the cloud that hovers over all the major nominations in Hollywood. Here's another movie based on race, I think nominated because of racial concerns, Black Klansman by Spike Lee, who is an outspoken racist since I was a kid. A couple of years ago, Spike Lee was brought to Harvard to serve as an interim professor, a guest professor. And the first thing he did was declare that every white student in his class would get an automatic C. No white student could get higher than a C because, after all, they're white. And so they need to be held back a little bit, which is a stupid thing to begin with. But when you look at the nomination of Black Klansman together with that of Black Panther, again, it calls into question the politics behind the nominations. What do you think?
I think that there's something to be said for that. Frankly, I actually think The Black Klansman is a very good movie, I think that, with the exception of the last few minutes, isn't a particularly politically charged movie. The last few minutes absolutely is, and anyone who's seen the movie will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to give any plot spoilers away, but suffice to say, the last few moments of the movie are extremely politically charged. That being said, I personally think that it is actually a very good movie.
But keep in mind, no other superhero movie has ever been nominated for Best Picture.
That's right. This is the first time he's been nominated as Best Director. He's had a couple of, Best Screenplay nominations in the past, but this is his third time as being nominated for Best Director. I think it's important, by the way, just as a backdrop, to say that it's important to remember that the Academy Awards are voted by, many hundreds of people, and and I think what we're seeing now is a result of the backlash from the Oscars So White campaign of 2015. And in 2017, we saw the immediate kind of payoff of that, where Moonlight, that many people thought was an inferior movie, beat La La Land famously in the whole kind of misreading of the card.
Right. Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, don't forget, 2016 was the year where 800, or actually more than 800 new members were inducted into the Academy, of which 39% were female and 30% were non-white. So a significant influx into the Academy were of non-white and non-male. Now, I think this is automatically going to inform the opinion of the collective body, and I think the result of that is going to see movies like, Black Panther, which is better than average at best.
All right, Simon, hang on 1 second because we're hitting a commercial break. We'll continue when we come back. My friends, stay tuned. You're listening to Real Truth. Absolutely.
Okay.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare.
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airline, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia? Wow, that's cheap. So why?
Oh, by the way, I agree with you on the propaganda part of Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Well, go to that website, movieagendas.com. There you'll find a whole bunch of my movie reviews there.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, you guys had a difference of opinion at the beginning. I could be more on your side on that one.
Okay, glad to hear it.
Oh, yeah. Hang on, Howard.
All right.
506-8319. That's 800-506-8319.
Grandpa's Pawn and Guns. We are a family-owned and operated business. We run a gun store, pawn shop in Longmont, Colorado, and have served the Front Range for nearly 25 years. Currently, we have over 400 guns for sale in our 4,200 square foot showroom. Grandpa's Pawn and Gun, according to Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, is one of the state's highest volume gun dealers. We are also the busiest pawn shop in Longmont, and we offer the lowest interest rates on your loans in northern Colorado. Seriously, why would you pawn your valuables anywhere else? We've sold over 45,000 guns since 1999, so if you are into those old Colts and Winchesters, or new Glocks and H&Ks, we'll take good care of you. People you can trust, and a pawn shop you can trust. That's Grandpa's Pawn and Gun, 303-772-7952. That's 303-772-7952.
All right, my friends, welcome back. Howard Riell, Real Truth, special guest today, my friend Simon Later. We're talking about movie agendas, the nominations of the Oscars in Hollywood, and the fact that the liberal Twinkies in Hollywood, in my opinion, continue to try and maneuver America in a direction that they think we should go in, and which I do not. Simon, I cut you off before the break. Was there something you wanted to finish?
Yeah, all I was saying was that I think when you've got a body that has a big influx of non-white and non-male decision makers, if you like, the Oscars are naturally going to reflect that change in body. That's what I was going to say. Okay,
let's move on to the next nomination, Bohemian Rhapsody. Obviously about Freddie Mercury. It touches the LGBT button, which is a hot button. I understand why people would make a movie that would include a hot button topic, but putting it up as Best Picture, I don't know, with the Academy adding women, the whole Me Too movement. So they want to placate women. They've always been trying to placate non-whites because liberals always divide people up racially. Hollywood has always had a large gay population. And so, again, this is liberal Hollywood doing what liberals do, which is carve people up, niche people up, and then play one side against another or try to benefit from one side instead of another. I just don't like being techniqued, Simon. I feel like someone's got his hand in my pocket, so to speak. What do you think?
Okay, well, it's actually interesting. I was reading an article a little earlier in the Hollywood Reporter, which quoted GLAAD, the gay and lesbian advocacy group, and their president, Sarah Kate Ellis, noting that 5 of the Best Picture nominees highlighted LGBTQ storylines or characters or whatever. Okay, she highlighted the 5 being Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favourite, Green Book, A Star Is Born, and Vice. Let's talk about you mentioned Bohemian Rhapsody, Howard.
Right.
For me, I think one of the triumphs of Bohemian Rhapsody, frankly, is that it doesn't parade Freddie Mercury's sexuality front and center. If anything, I think it's actually quite hypocritical of the LGBT community to claim Bohemian Rhapsody as an LGBT movie, primarily because 2 or 3 months ago when the movie came out, they were protesting about it downplaying Freddie Mercury's sexuality. So I hate to say it, but LGBTQ people, you seem to be having your cake and eating it with that one.
Well, that's okay. I think that's an excellent point. Let's look at Green Book, the Green Book, because that's a twofer. You get a main character who is black, and as it turns out, about 2/3 of the way through the movie, he's also gay. And so the social justice warriors on the left, the propaganda ministers on the left, get a twofer here. And I think that's why this is, we can argue whether or not it was good enough to be nominated for Best Picture, but I think that this was the overriding reason that it was nominated. Again, the social justice warrior propaganda plan being played out. And I've seen it, as you know, you've read some of my reviews on movieagendas.com. It is a nonstop push, just as you find in the media, the political and the hard news media, to push a narrative, to push an agenda. And I don't like being pushed. I don't like having agendas pushed down my throat, especially when you're dealing with LGBTQ. And so I look at Green Book and yeah, it is a good movie, but I'm wondering whether it's simply riding the wave of liberal propaganda. What do you think about that?
Okay, for me, I think Green Book is an example of a movie that was both critically and commercially towards the end of the movie that the LGBT elements stuff come in. But at the end of the day, a movie that has 82% on Rotten Tomatoes and overwhelmingly, according to Fandango, has almost 13,000 five-star ratings. I think you'd be hard pressed to say that that's not a movie that would be listed in the top 8 movies of 2018.
Okay. Now let's look at Roma, which is on Netflix. And full disclosure, I've not seen it. But come on, this is the director, Cuarón. This is his life story, the story of poor immigrants from South America. It's very, very timely, and this is the crusade du jour of the left. They're using this as a cudgel in the battle against building the wall and allowing illegal immigrants to come in and doing away with ICE. I see this as part and parcel with that whole movement, which is destructive to America and to the rule of law. And so once again, I've not seen the movie, but I question why it appears on this list. What do you say, Simon?
Audience score of 83% and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 96%. I think the Roma's inclusion is simply down to the fact that it's frankly a good movie. Again, full disclosure.
Have you seen it?
Either. I haven't seen it, but all I can say is that looking at its scores on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it certainly deserves its place. But aside from that, I think there's a lot to be said about the fact that I'm a big fan of Netflix. I'm a big fan of Amazon Studios, and I think that the democratization of Hollywood taking and allowing these newer studios to genuinely compete at the Oscars is a good thing. And it's the first movie that the Netflix have ever had to be nominated for Best Picture, and probably second only to Manchester by the Sea, which won Best. It won Best Actor 2 years ago. I think this is something to be celebrated to show that the smaller, independent, if you like, non-traditional studios can bloody the noses of the Warner Brothers and the Universals of this world.
All right, the last movie on the list that I wanted to talk about is Vice, which is a movie about Dick Cheney. I have seen the movie. It is a nonstop attack on Dick Cheney. They insult him. They put him down, the people around him. I didn't enjoy the movie. I didn't think it was interesting. I didn't think it was in any way crafted or artistic. I thought it was just a liberal screed against someone who has arguably become a conservative icon. Again, it was a hit piece, and I think that is why it appears on the list of Best Picture nominees. Some years down the line, someone will make a movie about Trump, and I guarantee that will win Best Picture because liberals will seethe in every scene about what they perceive as the terrible Donald Trump, when in reality he's been a hell of a good president. Have you seen Vice, Simon? And if so, what do you think about it?
I've not, and frankly, I don't intend to. I don't like political takedown movies. I didn't see W a few years ago, chose not to. And I don't like movies that I don't enjoy comedy or dramas which are let us all point fingers at that person and laugh at them or mock them or ridicule them. I find that kind of entertainment frankly distasteful, and it looks like the audience agrees with me. I hate to keep quoting Rotten Tomatoes, but it's quite an authority. 64% by the critics and 54% by the audience. So I don't think Vice will be troubling the box office for too long.
What is your opinion? Of course, you're born and raised outside the United States, and we forgive you for that. What is your opinion of...
I've tried to apologize by moving here.
We appreciate that. What's your opinion of the role that Hollywood plays in American society? You know, we are a celebrity culture. Everybody goes to the movies. We venerate our celebrities. My take, as you well know, is that Hollywood has a deleterious, if not outright corrosive effect on our society. What do you think? How do you think Hollywood and the movies that it makes affects America and the world by extension?
I think, well, first of all, I think that's a very, very interesting question and a very broad one. And I think that, frankly, there's nothing new about Hollywood's attempt, either as an industry or as a collective of self-appointed ambassadors of morality and opinion, positioning themselves publicly to try and influence America and the world. I mean, we only have to. Well, I mean, okay, the year before I was born in 1974. The year before I was born, so this has been going on for longer than my 44 years on the planet. In 1973, Marlon Brando famously turned down the Best Actor Oscar for The Godfather. He sent a North American actress, a Native American actress, whose name was Sachin Littlefeather, to famously, she stood on the stage, and as Roger Moore tried to give her, this famous, you'll see this on YouTube, Roger Moore tried to give her the award, she kind of brushed him aside and read a statement from Marlon Brando basically saying, Hollywood and America are doing horrible and nasty things to the Native American, who he referred to as Indian at the time. Okay, fast forward another sort of almost 30 years, Michael Moore had that horrendous berating of President Bush, President George W. Bush, in 2002 when he accepted the award for Bowling for Columbine. Only a couple of years ago, the entire Oscar ceremony was just a parade of President Trump bashing, and it was just offensive. It really was. At the end of the day, I pay my actors, and I do pay my actors because I'm not a movie producer, but I'm a passionate movie lover and supporter, and my box office ticket, as yours does, as all your listeners do, Howard, contributes towards the salaries of everyone from the extra that sits in the background through to the leading man or woman. Okay?
Absolutely.
And I pay them to entertain me. I don't pay them to preach to me. I don't pay them to lead me. I don't pay them to have an opinion to shape me. Okay? I simply pay them to stand in front of the camera and read the lines that the screenwriter has written and follow the direction of the director. And that's it. As far as the political opinion, stand on Twitter for all that, yeah? I just won't follow you. But don't stand and receive an award and start dictating to me on how I should on what I should think. Okay? And it's not only me that thinks this. One of their own, Tina Fey, in 2016 went on your good friend Howard Stern's radio show, and effectively said the same thing. She was like, "I'm sick to death of people going on award shows, accepting awards and using it as a podium to preach everything from climate change to corporate greed and everything else." And she was like, "For goodness sake, give me a break." And Tina Fey, I actually very much agree on this issue with exactly what she was saying.
All right, folks, for you, if there are people out there who don't know, Simon himself is quite an accomplished video director. In fact, if you go to my website, howardriell.com, you will find the video that Simon made, one of many excellent videos that he has made, featuring yours truly, playing, ultimately ending up as Spider-Man. You'll see what I mean when you see the video. So Simon has really made a study of this, and that's why I invited him on the show. And apart from the egregious error of sounding more intelligent than I am, I think he's been an excellent guest. We got 1 minute left. What should people watching the Oscar ceremonies on TV, Simon, what should they keep in mind as they watch?
That the Oscars is no longer, in my opinion, a celebration of whatever is the best in Hollywood. It's become a celebration of what Hollywood wants us to think.
Aha, exactly.
Across many different issues.
Very well put. Would you, if you had young kids, you do have young kids, but if you had teenage kids, would you let them watch the Oscars?
In the past we did, but I'm becoming less and less keen on that. We've had an Oscar party, as you know. Where we would,
all right, Simon, we're all out of time. I apologize for cutting you off, but thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Howard.
All right, folks, we'll be right back.
Cash Out Refinance Hotline today. Need cash to pay off high-interest credit cards? No problem. Need cash to pay for college tuition? No problem. Need cash to pay for home improvement? No problem. Homeowners can call right now and get fast cash for any reason, even if your credit score is less than perfect. If you are current on your monthly mortgage payments and need cash right now, call the Cash Out Refinance Hotline and get the money you need. We have access to some of the lowest available interest rates. This special Cash Out Hotline may only be available for a limited time. Homeowners are urged to call now and find out for free how much cash you qualify for.
800-819-8312. 800-819-8312. That's 800-819-8312.
Total Mortgage Services, LLC is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2764. Not available in all states. Additional restrictions may apply. Offer is subject to eligibility. Not all who call will qualify. Call for terms and conditions.
If you eat it, drink it, or wear it, agriculture produced it. The 55th Annual Colorado Farm Show, January 29th, 30th, and 31st. Island Grove Regional Park, Greeley, Colorado.
Free to the public. 300 exhibitors. Ag trade show. Educational classes. Scholarship winners.
Go to www.coloradofarmshow.com.
www.coloradofarmshow.com.
It's happening to you every night. One snores, and the other can't sleep. It seems like there's no end to it. But now there's a quick and easy-to-use solution, a natural solution. Snore Stop. Try it risk-free today. Snore Stop was created and tested by a team of physicians and has been helping couples sleep for over 20 years. It is the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S. Snore Stop sprays or tablets are now available nationwide. All you have to do is call. It's time to try Snore Stop and make every night a better night for both of you. Don't wait. Try Snore Stop, the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S. Spray or tablet. Call right now for free shipping and your 100% risk-free trial offer. 800-932-1745. 800-932-1745. 800-932-1745. That's 800-932-1745.
Higher rates, lower rates, negative rates, bail-ins, bail-outs, and so much more. You know why you need to own gold and silver. At the Patriot Trading Group, we're a different kind of company. We have no commission salespeople, no boiler room sales calls, no high-priced spokesmen. We believe in treating people with honesty and respect and delivering you the best products at the best price. Buying or selling, call us at 800-951-0592 or go to our website at allamericangold.com.
All right, my friends, we are back. Once again, thanks to my buddy Simon Lader for lending us his cinematic expertise, which is vast. Anyway, it's a big question, as is the question of illegal immigration. I'm going to toss it right to another hot-button topic. Here is Ann Coulter on the radio talking about what she sees as Trump's immigration. Well, I guess it is. It's a compromise. But is it really a compromise if he knows the other side isn't going to accept it? And should he be compromising with people who are actively working for the destruction of the United States of America? Here's Ann Coulter. Excuse me, Ann, hang on 1 second. What happened to talk of the president using the military budget to build the wall? The money's there. There's money that he's been scouring the federal government for, extra money, extra billions that he could use. Why not just declare it an emergency and do it, instead of these pointless negotiating points, these giveaways? Why do that? Just build a wall. And if the liberals don't like it, they can screech, which they will do anyway, which they're already doing.
True, as we've seen from all of the
And it still, by the way, begins with a crime. Even if the illegal alien who comes here and obeys the laws, the other laws, and works and doesn't commit crime, even he has broken our law, which weakens our society and weakens everyone's adherence to the law, and it's bad and it cannot be tolerated. And if it can be tolerated, well, fine, I'm going to go down to the store, fill my pockets with products, and walk out, because after all, who cares about a few candy bars or a gallon of milk? Well, if you're going to say to me, well, really, you can't do that, well, you're right, I can't. And they can't come here illegally, even if they don't plan on committing any more crimes than breaking our border. And by the way, I was talking about that with a liberal I knew last weekend. We have to let illegals in because it's the compassionate thing to do. I said, how about being compassionate to Americans? And she looked at me, couldn't understand what I was saying. I said, with all the evils that come along with illegal immigration, crime, disease, etc., cartels, how about being compassionate to Americans, law-abiding citizens of the United States? She looked at me like she didn't have a clue. And between you and me, she didn't. We'll be right back.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now. 800-482-83
owned and operated business. We run a gun store, pawn shop in Longmont, Colorado, and have served the Front Range for nearly 25 years. Currently, we have over 400 guns for sale in our 4,200 square foot showroom. Grandpa's Pawn and Gun, according to Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, is one of the state's highest volume gun dealers. We are also the busiest pawn shop in Longmont, and we offer the lowest interest rates on your loans in northern Colorado. Seriously, why would you pawn your valuables anywhere else? We've sold over 45,000 guns since 1999, so if you are into those old Colts and Winchesters or new Glocks and H&Ks, we'll take good care of you. People you can trust and a pawn shop you can trust. That's Grandpa's Pawn and Gun, 303-772-7952. That's 303-772-7952.
All right, folks, welcome back to Real Truth. We've got news from the United States Supreme Court. No, Ruth Bader Ginsburg hasn't dropped dead. Item from the Daily Caller. The Supreme Court announced on Tuesday, that's today, it will allow President Trump to temporarily enforce restrictions on transgender individuals serving in the military. As is typical of orders of this nature, the court gave no reason for its decision, though Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan noted their dissent, unquote. Folks, those are the 4 liberal justices. Now, if you're wondering how you can be a liberal justice when ideology is not supposed to mix with legal rulings, well, you're asking a very, very good question. The fact that these 4 are liberal in their rulings shows that they're bad justices. You're not supposed to come at a legal problem armed with anything except established law. And if you're going to decide things based on your liberal bent, then you need to get off the court and go, I don't know, work in a mall or something. Ruth Bader Ginsburg still breathes. Stephen Breyer, who's also in his 80s, is still breathing. They should both retire immediately. Let Donald Trump replace them with justices who have heard of the United States Constitution. Let's go to a colleague of mine, Tucker Carlson on Fox News, talking about this whole stink about the kid wearing the MAGA hat, Make America Great Again hat, who has been smeared and slandered by the media. Here's Tucker Carlson from last night.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. If you are
And my friends, that brings us back to the beginning of the show and the Academy Award nominations, which are not, in my opinion, in my experience, which are not really nominations based on the best pictures, but based on the pictures whose propaganda message they want to send out most strongly across America and across the world. Exactly what Tucker is saying.
No, that's true.
So all these people who want to scalp these poor kids, they're all wrong. They're all stupid. And yes, they're all liberals. We'll be right back.
You can buy gold just about anywhere in the world from all kinds of different dealers. So why do you use the Patriot Trading Group?
20 years of service, just like that. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, just like that. Lowest prices, just like that. No solicitations, just like that. Buying or selling, just like that.
For all your gold and silver needs, call the Patriot Trading Group at 800-951-0592. Just like that.
If you eat it, drink it, or wear it,
Agriculture produced it.
the 55th Annual Colorado Farm Show, January 29th, 30th, and 31st. Island Grove Regional Park, Riell, Colorado.
Free to the public. 300 exhibitors. Ag trade show. Educational classes. Scholarship winners.
Go to www.coloradofarmshow.com.
www.coloradofarmshow.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips.
No one in America does what we do. Our health and nutrition profile is a free 1-hour interview with one of our counselors. We look at what you eat, what you drink, exercise, medication, environment you work in, food you crave, your present health, your health history, your family history. Everything that makes you a unique person. No one is exactly like you. Then we will suggest some food changes. Maybe you should add something to your diet. Maybe you should eliminate something from your diet. Then we suggest green herb products to supplement your diet. We usually suggest between 2 and 5 things. 60 capsules cost $17.50, but remember, you are not obligated to purchase anything. Call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372 to set your no obligation appointment.
Item from Grabian.com. The world is going to end in 12 years unless the government takes action, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat in New York, said on Monday at the Martin Luther King Forum in New York City. Here's an excerpt from her interview with Ta-Nehisi Coates, quote, and I think that part of it that is generational is that millennials and people in Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. Your biggest issue is how are you going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II. And I think for younger people looking at this are more like, how are we saying, let's take it easy when 3,000 Americans died last year? How are we saying, let's take it easy when the end person died from our cruel and unjust criminal justice system? How are we saying, take it easy? The America that we're living in today is dystopian, with people sleeping in their cars so they can work a second job without health care, and we're told to settle down. It's a fundamental separation between that fierce urgency of now, the why we can't wait that King spoke of, that at some point this chronic reality do reach a breaking point, and I think for our generation it reached that. I wish that I didn't have to be doing every post, but sometimes I just feel like people aren't being held accountable. Until we start pitching in and am holding people accountable, I'm just going to let them have it. Unquote. My friends, if that sounds like unintelligible, garbled nonsense to you, it is, because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a nitwit. Not by coincidence. I saw a poll earlier today. Over 70% of Democrats would vote for this nitwit for president, as opposed to any of the other Democrat nitwits. Item from CNN. A court in Egypt sentenced the TV journalist to 12 months jail time for promoting homosexuality after he interviewed a gay man, state-run media reported. Mohammed al-Ghaidi was also accused of contempt of religion after inviting the guest onto his show, according to Egypt's state-run Al-Ahram website. Al-Ghaidi also received a fine of 3,000 Egyptian pounds, that's $167, and will be placed under surveillance for 1 year after finishing his prison time, according to Al-Ahram. Now, folks, yesterday I invited feminists and gay activists to go to the Muslim Middle East and protest. I haven't heard of any of them actually leaving to do so. I think maybe they better. Wherever they're going, they should probably leave the United States. Item from Reuters, Dateline, Mexico City. Murders in Mexico rose by 33% in 2018, breaking the record for a second year running. Oh yeah, let's bring more and more and more of these people here, and then our murder rates will go up too. Doesn't that sound like fun? Item from Breitbart, a transgender customer who lashed out at the male GameStop clerk is claiming to be a victim of hate for being called sir at the store. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, my friends. This jerk walks in dressed like a woman. The person behind the counter calls him sir. He starts screaming obscenities. And now he claims that he's a victim. Well, keep in mind, this is the 21st century. So any degenerate out there who wants to treat people like garbage, well, you can't say anything because he's the victim. And no, it's not that she is the victim. He is the victim. And by the way, he looks like a moron on that YouTube video. And if he's screaming obscenities at the poor store clerk, you have to wonder whether or not his mother and father were brother and sister, because that would sure explain a lot. I urge you to go on YouTube and look for this video. Watch it yourself. Don't let kids see it, because it's got words that they shouldn't hear. But watch it yourself, and then remember, this idiot says he is the victim. That said, I will be back tomorrow with more real truth, my friends. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay angry. Hasta luego.